easy day trip from Algiers can transport you 2,000 years back into the peak of the Roman Empire. Along the shores of the Mediterranean, there were two major ancient port cities that overlooked the bright blue sea. It's an amazing experience wandering through the remaining pillars and gaze upon the intricate mosaics that adorn the surfaces of Tipaza and Cherchell. And here's how it went.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to my second day here in Algeria. I am partnering with Fancy Yellow Algeria here for the next 9 days, showing you guys some of the best things that you can do in the largest country in Africa. And yesterday we explored the main city of Algiers here, which we're looking over this morning from the top of my rooftop hotel. But today we're going to go deeper into Algeria's history and learn about when the Roman Empire took over parts of this part of Algeria, and we're going to see some ancient Roman ruins that are right along the Mediterranean. So Fancy Yellow has set up a whole day trip from Algiers here. We're going to drive about an hour out to Tipaza and Cherchell and get to see some of those ruins up close and get to see a couple smaller towns on the northern part of Algeria here. So yeah, my driver is going to be picking me up at about 9 a.m. this morning, and then we're going to start the day trip from here. We have just driven about an hour and a half from Algiers, and we've made it to our first stop here of Cherchell. And I've met my guide from Fancy Yellow, Luna.
Yeah, hello.
She's from Tipaza, and she's going to be giving me a lot of information as we're exploring this region of Algiers right along the northern coast here along the Mediterranean. And our first stop here in Cherchell is a small little town just past Tipaza. And we've started it in this little park here that has a nice view overlooking the harbor. You can see some of the fishing boats out there, and it's a big place for seafood. And we're in the park square, and these are what trees?
Plumbra trees. They are century trees, and here, so they are not like naked trees, but they will grow. And usually in summer, they will provide a lot of shade for the people that come here and enjoy the square.
Yes. Yeah, and right now they just have a very interesting look here, and right on the edge of the square here is going to be the museum, and we're going to be learning a lot about some of the Phoenician and Roman Empire and some of the ruins that are found here. So
welcome to Tipaza again, and I can't wait to show you all around my hometown.
So here we are in the National Museum of Shirshal. So Shirshal is one of the most important towns here in Algeria and also here in Tipaza because of its big history. So here the history actually dates to the Roman period and also before that to the Phoenician period as well. So the Phoenicians, they take it as a trading post, and then after that, during the Roman period, it was called Caesarea. And actually the two king and queen that used to rule here were Juba II and Cleopatra Selene. Actually, Cleopatra Selene is the daughter of Cleopatra VII and Mark Antony. And also we have Juba II, who is the son of Juba I, who was raised in Rome. Both of them, they came here and they built this beautiful city of Caesarea. So all of the pieces that are here in this museum, they were all brought from Cherchell and excavated from here. So here, just to show how important the capital was, I hope you enjoy the visit here.
That was the museum here in Cherchell, and it was just amazing to see all of these old Roman statues, how important of a port this was for the Roman Empire, and just some beautiful mosaics and statues. And yeah, just an incredible museum to see. Really nice presentation as you just walk around this like square museum. So anyways, we're gonna head back out to the city of Cherchell here and check out one of the mosques and maybe a local market as well. We have just walked right across the street from that museum here, and we've come across one of the most unique mosques I've ever seen. It looks like a Roman temple that was built during the Ottoman period in the 1600s, and it's actually a mosque now. So it just has these Roman columns, and it's just a very interesting look to it. And it's actually Friday, so some men are gathering here because there's going to be some prayer time. Yeah, very interesting mosque. Now we're going to head out and check out one of the local markets in Shirshal.
The best place to have a snack here in Shirshal. All the people that come to Shirshal, they need to come here to have the best local snack here. It's called Sali Shirshal. So let's try some of it together.
It's like a light, fluffy, flaky pastry with chicken, and then we got some with some shrimp and the lemonade to wash it down. Very good.
This is the best thing to have in Shirshal.
So good. That was a quick walk through the market and some of the streets of Shirshal here, and stopping to get a couple little of those pastries at that shop there. And now we're going to jump back in the van and head back to Tipaza to check out some more of the ruins along the coast here. We have just driven back from Shirshal to Tipaza, and we're going to be heading to one of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites here, and they are the Roman ruins of Tipaza.
Yeah.
And she's from Tipaza, so let me let her tell you about it.
Here, yes, so we're going to visit the UNESCO site here. This UNESCO site is from 1982, and this is the most visited archaeological site in all Algeria because Tipaza is considered as a vacation city, so many people come here to visit, so we're going to discover it together. Site of Tipaza. So here we are in the Western Archaeological Site. This is all the map of the site. We are going to visit this part here. This is all the city. The city was all fortified by a big wall. The first one who came here, they were the Phoenicians. So the Phoenicians are the first one who settled. Actually, they are the one who named it Tipaza. So Tipaza means the passage, because the travelers used to come from Ecosium, Algiers nowadays, stop here and then continue their travel to Caesarea, which is Shirshal nowadays. And also some of it is under the water as well. So some researchers actually did some scuba diving, and they found that there is also some ruins under the water. So today we're going to visit Tipaza together.
We have just entered the Tipaza ruins here, and the first thing that we're seeing is the amphitheater, which is where they used to have gladiator fights in this big open arena, sometimes against each other, sometimes against animals, but yeah, very interesting. We have just walked past a few temples there, and now we are on Cardo Maximus, which is one of the main roads that went through Tipaza here. And as you can see, it just goes straight to the sea, and it was a port city that the Romans used to transport a lot of goods like grain, wheat, grapes, some animals, garum,
Yeah.
and they would take them down to the port here and ship them off to Rome. So yeah, but just walking here and seeing all of the pillars along this road straight towards the blue Mediterranean is just beautiful. have just come further down the Cardo Maximus and we've entered what was one of the nobles' homes, which is this 1,000 square meter hatch here. And we even have some of the original mosaics that were on the floors of some of the rooms here. And then again, just stunning views overlooking the Mediterranean, the bright blue water, the mountains in the distance. Absolutely beautiful.
Some boats if any traveler wants to take like a boat tour here, and usually for the price is around 6,000 dinars for the longest trip, which is about 1 hour to go all the way under the mountain of Shinwa. Of course they have other itineraries, so it's very popular here to take a boat tour to see the site from the other side as well.
So we are just walking around the Tipaza ruins here, and there's this nice little beach kind of between one part of the city and the other, and then we're gonna head up this hill to check out an old basilica up on the top and get some nice views from up there. So let's go. Just come up to the basilica here, which was built in the 4th century, and right in the middle of the basilica in the main aisle here you can see a few of the little pillars, and then on the floor you still have some of the original mosaics, which are just beautiful on the floor there. And then you're right up on this cliff and you have a beautiful view looking back on some of the city that we were exploring earlier, and you can see modern day Tipaza as well. So we have just walked through the ruins of the old basilica there, and just around the back there is the watchtower, and there were 39 watchtowers overlooking the ancient city of Tipaza, which was home to about 10 or 15,000 people, and it is just stunning. We are up on these cliffs, we're overlooking the bright blue water of the Mediterranean. Again, you can look back on the old city there, and then you can also look off and see some of the resorts and one of the beaches of Tipaza and the mountain off in the distance. But just amazing views they had back here during the ancient Roman time. So we're gonna head back into the old city again, and we're gonna see the old theater. So yeah, let's go.
In the theater. So this theater hosts between 3,000 to 4,000 spectators, and also due to earthquake, this is why most of it fell apart. But this theater was dedicated to tragedy and comedy, and what makes this theater more special is that it was built on a superficial base. And another thing, that this city was owned by veterans, so we have the amphitheater and also the theater in one city. That means that they give big importance to art and music as well, because Juba II and Cleopatra Cellini really like their art.
Right next to that Roman theater, we have the fountain here, and this was kind of a public place to access water, and it was also a place where travelers, passersby could stop and refill their water for them and their horses as they were going to some of the other Roman cities around here. So Yeah, very cool, amazing, massive ancient civilization here. Again, we've just been walking around and it's quite large, and on these cliffs, just absolutely beautiful. And then seeing just these old Roman ruins has been really interesting. But I was curious what was here before a lot of these Roman ruins. So Luna was going to tell us a little bit about before the Roman civilization.
Actually, before the Roman civilization, we had the Numidian civilization. So the Numidians are the native people of North Africa, and Massinissa, actually the Berber king, he's the one who unified the tribes here, and he is the one who created the kingdom of Numidia. So this is why a lot of people would think like Romans. Actually, before the Romans there were the Phoenicians, and before the Phoenicians are the Numidians. So the Numidians are, most of them helped in building all of these Roman ruins. So this is why there is like this controversial topic about like who built this and who, but we never forget that the native people of North Africa, they are the Berbers, the Amazigh, and the Numidians are the one who were here before the Romans. Yes.
And the Romans came in first century.
Yes, in the first century. So actually the Romans wanted to conquer North Africa, and Algeria was considered as a breadbasket for the Romans as well. Yes.
So very interesting history even before the Roman civilization here. And again, just such a beautiful place on the Mediterranean. So anyways, before we head to our last destination of the day, we're going to head into town a little bit here near the port harbor.
Yes, near to the port, yes.
And grab some fresh seafood. So
yes.
yeah.
In the best place.
Let's go get some lunch.
Yes.
So we have just walked past the little port of Tipaza, and we are at a very local restaurant here overlooking the port, so you can see some of the boats right out there. And we walked past a few fishing markets, and we're in the Dolphin, or Les Dauphins, which this place is just packed this afternoon on a Friday at about 2 o'clock. And we're going to get some very local seafood. So yeah, really looking forward to eating with some nice views. We have just finished up our lunch at Les Dauphins, and that was so much food. There were so many different types of fish there, very fresh and just a nice smoky taste from the grill. And we have just jumped back in the car, and we're heading to our last destination here in Tipaza, the Mausoleum de Mauritania. So we're gonna drive up there and check that out. So we have just come up from the town of Tipaza, and we've come to the Mausoleum of Mauritania. And up here, just this huge like mound of stones, and you have these nice columns around the base here. And Luna's gonna give us a little bit of the history of what exactly some people might think this monument is.
Welcome to the Royal Mausoleum of Mauritania, this beautiful mausoleum that combine all the styles of Berber, Roman and Hellenistic styles. So the story behind it, that it was built by Juba II to his beloved wife Cleopatra Selene, yet we don't have any remain here. So it's still like a mystery for us. Also the locals call it the tomb of the Christian lady. A lot of people come here to visit families and children because of all the beautiful scenery here. Yet this is one of the highlights of Tipaza. So if you come to Tipaza, you need to come here and see this beautiful mausoleum.
It sounds like there's still some mysteries to be solved here, but just a very massive, it's almost 100 feet tall, this giant like dome-shaped pyramid here, and then just the outside has that really nice column look to it, and then you have all of these stones just building that tower. But very, very fascinating. And then again, you're up on this hill, you're looking over some of the valley here. You can see a lot of the farmland of Tipaza, and then looking back on the city and the mountain that we saw some of the ruins in earlier. So that's about it for our tour of Tipaza and Cherchell. Thank you again to Fancy Yellow for setting me up with Luna, who is just an incredible tour guide who's from here and is very passionate about
I
her
love my hometown, and
Yes.
I hope I showed you my hometown. You're always welcome to Tipaza. Thank you so much, Zach, for showing my hometown.
Thank you. She was an incredible guide. Fancy Yellow drove me here and got me here and was able to show me just these incredible old ruins, and again to see just another history of Algeria here after seeing some of the history in Algiers was incredible. And yeah, so that's about it for Tipaza Cherchell. Definitely make sure you come here if you're visiting the north of Algeria. Very, very fascinating. And tonight I'm going to the airport right from here to head off to Constantine. So I'll see you guys next time when we're in Constantine, Algeria. Bye.
Bye.